Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Tonight we're going to look at Cucumber, Spring Boot, and how to run these tests in parallel. It sounds good, right? To run tests in parallel, then you don't have to wait for each of these tests to run. Then you can just, then you can run all of them at the same time. The only, of course, limit is how many threads that your computer can actually handle at the same time, and that is quite a lot. So how do we set this up? So first of all, let us look at this is a default Spring Boot project. It is actually Spring Boot 2.7.5, but you can also use Spring 3. You can use Spring 3, no problem with that. What is important right here is that you need to disable the native driver, the native engine, the native JUnit engine. And the way that you do that is that you go down and you find the Spring test dependency. Here we have it. This is the Spring test dependency. If you're using Gradle, you have to do something like this also. Maybe I'll make another video just for Gradle. But you have to add this exclusion right here. It says org.junit.vintage, and then you have the vintage engine right here. We do not want to run this with the vintage engine. We want to use JUnit 5 because that is where we can set these cool options like parallel, and we can also set a strategy for how to run these tests in parallel. We can set something that is called dynamic, where JUnit would just choose how many threads they can it can use at the same time, or we can use a fixed pool of concurrent tests that actually run, and that is also equal to the number of threads that will be used. We have a lot of dependencies right here. We need some JUnit 5 stuff right here, and we are actually also these four right here. We have Jupiter. As soon as you can see Jupiter, then you know that it's JUnit 5 because then it's the Jupiter is the fifth planet from the Sun in our solar system. That's why it shows that name right there. This JUnit platform stuff, these are still something that is needed because we need the annotations that we get with those dependencies right there. Then we have the Cucumber dependencies. We have something called Cucumber Java. We have something, and that is the one that we use. That's actually the one that we use when we want to use annotations like given, when, then. We have to annotate your steps and create your steps. There's also some others. We actually need all of these dependencies right here. We need the Cucumber Spring. It actually helps us to get the right dependencies. There's a lot of wiring in there. If you are bored one day, then you can go and look at the Cucumber Spring project and see what is actually inside it and how it's built. If you're not bored one day, then you can just use Cucumber, of course, and you can just use the dependencies like this. Then we have a Cucumber JUnit right here. That is the current JUnit, the current Cucumber version. And of course, this is a parameter. This is a variable because we do not want to type this in a lot of times. And then when we want to bump our dependency, because of course we want to bump our dependencies because they're always outdating them and new versions are coming all the time. Then of course you want to have this as a variable right here. Then we have the Cucumber JUnit platform engine. Thank you very much for that. And then you have a Surefire. Dependency plugin right here. This is the one that actually runs the test when you run verify. If you double click on verify, or if you run Maven verify, then this is actually the plugin that will make sure that we actually run the Cucumber tests. This actually excludes the Cucumber test runner. We are using something called a Cucumber suite right down here. So I don't think, and I did not need to have some of this up here, but it's okay. This project works, so I will put it on GitHub, so you can just clone out the project if you want to try out the stuff yourself. This is where the fun is actually. Here we have integration test, and we have a goal named test. We have a phase named integration test. And here we say excludes none. This is where you would place your excludes. If there are some tests that you would not like to run, then you would add them there. This is the include part. This is the test that we actually want to run. Okay, so this was the POM XML file. Yes, it is very boring. So let us just jump to our Cucumber suite file right away. I have to show this before I run the test because else you might not understand what is actually going on. So here we have this is the wiring, right? So here we have at suite. We say that we want to use the Cucumber engine. We say that we are looking for, in this directory, to look for the features, and that is the test that we actually want to run. Here we have alien test 2. It is placed in this features folder right here, and this is the features folder that we want to select. Right now we only have one test file. You could have 10 test files, and those will also be run at the same time. It's not just within the same file, it's also between files. Then we have configuration parameter right here, and this means that we are using Cucumber glue package, and this is what I have right here. This is where you would place your steps. This is where you would place your steps. If you don't know what a step is, it is the conversion of the Cucumber syntax into Java code. And I'll show you also this in just a minute. If you're new to Cucumber, then I have another Cucumber video actually I would recommend you to watch first. Yeah, but that's it. This is something about how verbose it should be. Plugin, publish, quiet, property name. Actually, usually it's true. So I'll just set it to true. I'm actually not sure what this one does. It's something about how verbose it is in the log, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the test itself. I have created this beautiful Spring Boot projects where I can create aliens. I'm using a H2 database. This means, and I have a space folder right here, and I also have some alien classes somewhere. Okay, let me just wait 1 minute with the alien classes. First, we have a scenario right here. Create 100 Smurfs. Then we have given no aliens exist, and first let us go see what it actually means. You can just hold, if you use IntelliJ, it is awesome with the Cucumber. You can just hold Control, then you can press the step name right there. Then you can see this is actually the string. This is the Cucumber syntax, and then this is the Spring Boot code that has been run. I am not annotating this with at Spring Test or anything like that because I have another step file that does that, and you can only have one step file that annotates with Spring Boot test. So you have to do that once, not more than once, then you will get an error. But I can still wire in my service. So this is my alien service I have right here. So let me just go to alien services right here. And as you can see, I have actually mislocated my code. I've actually placed my aliens down in the test folder right here. So what will I do? I will actually put it in the space folder up here, refactor, while I'm making a video, but hopefully it goes well. So this is an alien that we have right here. It has an ID. It's just a DTO. It's an entity. It is a H2 entity. So we have ID, type, name, weight, and height. So this is our alien. This is what describes our alien. Then we have an alien repository, the API repository. If you don't know about Spring Data, then watch my other videos about Spring Data. Then we have a service. This service right here can count aliens. How many aliens do we have? It just takes a repository, which is injected right there. Then it counts the number of aliens. And then we have a create alien, right? Now we are creating aliens. It needs a name, a type, and a weight and a height. And then we can actually create this new alien right here. I've added a sleep on purpose because we want these tests to take some time. That is why we run them in parallel, and that is also why we would actually get an error in just a minute, because now we are saving the alien right here, and we are writing a log statement. An alien has been created. Cool, right? Then we have terminate all aliens. We can delete all of our aliens. The reason why we want to do that is because we have a given statement in all of our test that says no alien exists, and this is where we actually delete all of the aliens. So we say delete all of the aliens, and then all of the aliens disappear. The problem now is that, okay, so let me just outcomment one of these tests, and let me just run one of these tests right here. We are creating 100 Smurfs right now, so let us see what happens. Here we have our test, it's running, we get a lot of output, no aliens exist, yes, that went fine. Create 50 aliens. And here we're creating them. They're all named Mike, and create 50 more. They're all named Harriet. And you can see they get an ID every time we get a new one. The weight is random. The height is also random. So, but we actually got some steps right here. They're all green. We are very, very happy. So that's fine, right? So now let us try to enable this other scenario right here. Then we'll press play. And I think if we run here, actually, it will still be run sequential, and then everything will be fine. But let us just see what will happen. So you can see here that it's still sequential. We'll run one scenario at a time, and they all go, and then everything is fine because we delete all of the aliens, and then we create some aliens. When we run them in parallel, they will actually not be fine because then we will start one test, it will delete all of the aliens, then we start creating all of our aliens, and then at some point, the next scenario will then delete all of the aliens again, and it will also dump a lot of aliens down into our database, and that is a problem. So that is actually one of the things that I wanted to talk about. But right now, we got 2 green scenarios right here, 2 green cucumber tests. Now let us try something different, because when you use the JUnit 5 engine to run your cucumber tests, then you can add a cool file that can actually configure how they should be run. That one is named JUnit Platform Properties. JUnit Platform Properties. Look at this file right here. Cucumber execution parallel enabled. True, yes, the strategy is fixed. We will maximum have 10 running 10 running threads, 10 running tests at the same time, but it is plenty for this example. Right here, you should also try the dynamic one. And if you're in any doubt, I'll show you a very cool articles in just a minute. But first, before that, then let us just run this cucumber suite right here. I have another file right here, cucumber test runner. Just ignore that. That is an old file, and I think actually I'll delete this one right here. That was if you want to use the native engine. And you don't want to do that now that you have this trick right here. Then you don't want to use the native engine. So I'll just delete it. It will still be in the Git history if you are interested in having it. I think I'll just leave it there. I'll leave the file. Annotate with suite. This is a JUnit thing. This means that you have a whole suite of stuff that you want to run. Then you have an engine. Yeah, we actually saw all of that. So let us just run this file right here. Look, I can have IntelliJ to run this file right here. So let me just use IntelliJ. So now use IntelliJ, and what happens? Look, now we have them both running at the same time. Create 100 Smurfs and create 100 Wookiees. It happens at the same time. We have concurrency right here. They're struggling to create all of it. But look what happens here. Create 50 Wookiees. Expected 50, but the actual was actually 100. How can that be? That is because 50 of these Wookiees are actually Smurfs, right? The 50 of these Wookiees are Smurfs. And the Smurfs are also failing because it also expected that there should be 50, but there are actually 100 aliens. That is because 50 of these aliens are Wookiees. 50 of these are Wookiees. And if we look at the step right here we have the then step right here. Total number of aliens should be. And here we actually use our assertion. Assertion equals to, and then we have the alien service count aliens. It worked fine when we ran this sequentially. And why do I show you this example that actually fails now with sequential test? This is because this is what always happens, right? A lot of times you have a given statement that cleans out your data or does something that just sets a clean sheet, and then you actually start running. Why do you do that? That's because then you don't have to use your brain, right? Then you can just go. Then you can, whenever you get a new task, you can just sit down, copy an existing test, switch off your brain totally, and then just maybe you will actually have ChatGPT to actually to work for you and just do your work. And then at some point you go to lunch, and then at some point then you can go home and be happy, a happy developer, right? But when you use parallel run, then you need to use your brain. Use your brain. And how should you use the brain then? First of all, a quick fix for this one actually is, first of all, do you really need to terminate all aliens before each run? That's the first question you can ask yourself. If you need to do that, then you need to have an overview, and usually the question right here is actually no, you do not need to terminate all the aliens. You could actually just store the number of aliens that was there before in some kind of map. You can actually create a map solution where you store the number of aliens before you run, and then after, and then you can check after you run with a given type. So we can actually easily fix this. Instead of having count aliens right here in the service, then we will say we could actually add a new method, which was count aliens. with type right here. And here we have the string, and here we have the type. And if, of course, we could use Spring Data with type, and then we could just add the type like this. And let us check if this just works out of the box. If it does not work out of the box, public int count with type, string type. This might just work out of the box because this is the Spring Data, and they have this language that if you name your methods like this, then we'll actually create a cool JQL, and we don't need public because it's the interface. That was very embarrassing. No one saw that. So count now with type. It should actually work. This means that now we need to create a new step also, because now instead of having the total number of aliens with type should be 50. So that means that we need to create this new step right here. And we can actually do that by pressing Alt-Enter. Then we can say create step definition. And then I can say I want to choose an existing file. Again, this is IntelliJ. It's just awesome for development, right? So here we have the type right here. Let us just change argument 0 to a type. It's much better, right? So here again, we will just say, we'll actually just copy this line right here. And we will have expected also. Oh, with type, we forgot something right here. String. Then we have to have this. Then we will have string type, and then we will have the integer expected. So this is expected, yes, like this. And then we say count with type, and then we say type like this. And if we are lucky, then with type, this is a smurf like this with type smurf. With type smurf like this. Okay, so now we will just run again. So now we'll run a suite again. If we, if this goes as expected, then we will have one green scenario, and we will have one red. Oh, what the heck now? Something happened. There was something that did not work. Maybe there was a compilation error or something. Let us just check. Failed to load application context. Yes. No property count. Yes, that was the repository name. I was a bit too fast with that. So let us go back to alien repository. Then I'll say query. So we'll create a real query. It's also much better to create your own queries. Then you can control exactly what's happening. Control select count. And then we say count t. So this is the function right here. Also say t dot from. And then we say alien t like this. Where type equal to, and then we write type again. When we're using named t.type, yes, t.type equal to, when we do like this, then we actually have to use a parameter right here. Then we say, oh, we do not say how, we say parameter, param repository query, param, then we say type, like this. And then we can actually use the parameter right here. What does it say right here? There's a space right here. Select count t. But maybe we will need a ID. Okay, let us see what this brought us now. So where type equal to. Okay, now it actually started again. So let us see. Now we do not have a Spring context error. Now started up. It looks like we're happy. The Wookiee is failed because of the usual error. What about the Smurfs? The Smurfs are continuing. The Smurfs are continuing. The Smurf test is... Why is it continuing? Because now we actually used our brain, and we actually know that that when we are creating new aliens, then we will actually... Yeah, we need to look at the type that we're actually testing and not something else. So what can you do right here? So there are actually multiple ways to actually solve this. Of course, I would actually say that you should just use your brain, and then instead of having something like this giving the no aliens exist, you could actually just say that no Smurfs exists, first of all. And first of all, you could have an overview of your test. If you do not have an overview of your test, maybe you're testing too much. That is actually also a situation that happens a lot. Maybe you're testing too much. You should try to test the last class in your hierarchy. That means that if you are using Spring Boot, then it's usually your controllers that you want to test. You don't want to call in with JSON, as I've seen someone use, because why would you test that Spring can actually convert JSON into Java objects like 1,000 times? You don't want to do that. You want to be type safe, and that means that you want to test the controllers with injection, and that means that you want to use steps actually, if you want to use QComp at all. Yeah. So this parallel right here actually means that you could delete the given, and then you could store your the existing number of you could store the existing number of aliens in your step class. That is actually possible. You can store stuff in your step class. You can also have multiple step classes. This means that you could actually have one step class per scenario if you want to. And you can still have utility and helper methods in those steps, of course, in those step classes. So you will still have generic code, but you will have steps that are you will have separate steps per scenario, and then your variables will not be overridden if you're afraid of that one also. So let us also fix this one right here, actually. So create fifth variable name, and then we say should be aliens with type. This is this one right here. Then we say Wookie, like this. And we delete this one right here. And we could actually also have race conditions with these delete all aliens right here. So we should actually delete all aliens where type equals to Smurf. But the video is already long enough, so I will not do that in this video right here. So here we have a total number of aliens with the name of Wookie, and then we want 100 right here. And then we want to run our suite. Of course, you probably also want to see that I can run the Maven target verify, and then you also want to see that your test has been run right there. It's a bit more difficult to see that they're being run in parallel, but they are, because you can actually see that you have this problem that the concurrency problem. But here we have Maven, and then you can run verify. And then what happens here now is first I have a regular Spring Boot test, and that is run first, I think, and then we have yes, and then the Cucumber test, they will start afterwards. So here, yes, now we're creating aliens, and if we go a bit out, then we can see that we are both getting Smurfs and Wookiees mixed in between each other. This means that now our tests are running in parallel. We are happy because we are saving developers time, and then the developers are much happier. And maybe we can afford an extra colleague then, right? Because we produce so much more value for the business that the business will be much better. And then, of course, that could actually be spent for extra people, extra friendly developers, extra brilliant minds. I don't have anything more to say. You probably can hear that right now. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great evening, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.